and welcome to another episode of Celluverse. My name is Alana Keneally, and I'm here with the one and only Dr. Keneally.
Hello, everybody.
And of course, we have the pregnant fairy princess herself, Jess Donovan.
Hello.
And yeah, we have a fun episode. How's everyone doing?
Great. Awesome.
Amazing. It's been
Beautiful.
so sunny. It's
Yes.
no complaints.
I don't want to hear it. It was
How's the weather been for you?
It was hailing this morning. I went out and got coffee and was like, what's happening?
Well, you get to experience diverse weather conditions. How amazing is that?
How lucky am I?
We're so lucky.
Yeah.
I know. And then I look at the weather.
Hail one day. I mean, and then you get to, go out and get strong. You're doing like an ice bath already, Look at it like that.
Totally.
Yeah, you're getting really strong. We're so proud of you.
Yes. Resiliency.
I feel toughened up. I know what they say, like New York toughens you up. I feel calloused. I feel hardened. I feel like growth in the last 3 months really came through me. So exciting.
Grows in Brooklyn.
Neuroplasticity, everything positive.
Yes. So anyways, let's jump in. So for Pulse Check this week, we have the headline story about glyphosate. Trump's executive order basically invoked the DPA, Defense Production Act, a law originally meant for wartime supplies, and it's issued to label glyphosate and phosphorus, which is used to make glyphosate, as a critical to national security and food supply, and order the USDA to ensure adequate domestic production and potentially shield manufacturers from liability under the DPA's liability protections. So, in simple terms, it could reduce legal risk for companies making glyphosate, arguing that herbicide supply is essential.
Yeah, not good.
Not happy about it.
No, because it's not good. It's on so many levels, it's not good. So first of all, it's kind of interesting because we checked the glyphosate in everybody. And glyphosate, interestingly, was found to chelate minerals out of pipes. That's how it was first used. And so it was going to chelate minerals out of pipes. And then they found that it was really good herbicide, weed killer. And so they now they're using in crops since probably in the 70s is when it was used, first of all, in GMO crops. Now it's used as a drying agent before the crop is going to be, released. And so, but it has been found now it's like nothing new. This is what's so crazy. I mean, Bayer, who bought Monsanto in 2018, they have over 150,000 lawsuits. Billions of dollars have been settled in these lawsuits, and doesn't seem like there's any stopping. And so that's just for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But when you look at all the critical pathways that glyphosate interferes with the human miracle that we live in, and then we got to deal not only with glyphosate, then we got to deal with PFAS, and then we got to deal with plastics. And we're just there's no check and balances, and this has got to stop. And I tell patients, like, unfortunately, we're living in the great poisoning, and you got to take charge of your own health because no one else is. And there's 8 billion people. There's no walls between countries, and everybody is just, doing what they are doing to the environment. And we got to learn how to take care of our environment is what we live on. But glyphosate is so, last night I was reading about all the neurological aspects of side effects of glyphosate. Now that's just, one aspect because Stephanie Seneff, if you really want to know about glyphosate, read the book Toxic Legacy. I would highly recommend everyone read that book. Legacy. I think she's the grandmother of biochemistry, actually. She's wonderful. And she goes and takes a deep dive on all the manifestations biochemically. And it is very, very, very serious. So think about it. It was designed to chelate minerals in a pipe. So it's chelating minerals out of our body. If we don't have minerals, we have no chemical reactions taking place. Okay. So because, if you look at the Krebs cycle of energy, that's how we make our ATP. And so minerals are an important part of everything. All right. All the minerals, magnesium, manganese, copper, zinc, etc. We have a lot of minerals in our body. So here we are taking those minerals out. So therefore people always talk about fatigue, etc. But if we don't have minerals, we can't fuel the Krebs cycle of energy. Then we know that it is a major, major microbiome disruptor. It basically, literally kind of derails the lactobacillus, the bifido, and Oncormansia is your main GLP-1. That's how you have satiety. That's how you feel good. That's how you fuel the insulin glucagon is with Oncormansia. And it's so funny because we do stool testing and a lot of people don't have Oncormansia. And so here we are wondering, okay, we have this explosion of obesity. Yes, there's many, many factors, et cetera, but we're interfering with our microbiome, which is 80% of our immune system. And then we wonder why colon cancer in young people has skyrocketed. And then no wonder. And then you wonder why people have increased risk of Parkinson's, dementia, autism, because it's interfering with glycine. Well, glycine makes all your neurotransmitters, okay? And glyphosate also interferes with how magnesium is present in the body. And manganese, not magnesium, manganese follows the nerve fibers very closely. And then you have glyphosate also carrying, when you get what they call a leaky gut, you get inflammation of the colon, and then the colon releases all these things into the body, and then it's allowed to carry aluminum to the brain, and because you have your brain barrier, and manganese carries glyphosate carries aluminum to the brain, and then you have all these neurological conditions, and you can see glyphosate, Parkinson's, dementia, autism, everything is dramatically increasing. Not to mention it's an endocrine disruptor, so we already have that paired with the plastics and the PUFAs. And then, it is so serious that we can't allow this to happen. And everyone's got to get their megaphone out there that this has got to stop and we have to remove it. It used to be what's on GMO crops. It's not on GMO crops. It's on everybody. And they say it's about 95% of the population. They've checked children in school and the school lunches, and it's 95 to 100% present in the food we're feeding our children. We cannot allow this to continue. So, and I'm not even talking about all the problems. It's just so many issues that we have to all, really speak out about. This can't be allowed to continue. I mean, I'm so sensitive to these things because I think about, they used DES for 40 years, knowing its carcinogenic potential, okay? I mean, we are allowing all these things to occur, knowing the deleterious effects of all these substances. And in science, there's something called the precautionary principle. We have got to be precautionary at all levels now. We got to pull it all out now. And we all have to become forensic scientists, knowing what we're putting on our body, in our mind, and everything.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Well, it's true. And it's just like yesterday, I was going to say this for the end, but I'm going to tell it now because it was so disturbing. I had a young girl come in yesterday, and she's 30 years old with 3 children, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, I think, 2 or 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And here she has this very, very, very rare form of a lipomyxoid sarcoma, which is really, it's fatty with muscular features, but the myxoid makes it more like unique. And and here it is. It's so incredible. I always ask, like, how did this all come about? Patients tell me every day, I complained about this, and they go, "Oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's nothing. Oh, whatever." I mean, I was like, I'm like, what? How does this even happen in the medical profession? But here she had 3 kids, and it's interesting. In her pregnancy, she would have this pain that came in her neck and back. And then she said, "Oh, it kind of went away." Well, in a 20-something-year-old, you guys, that is not normal. Okay, that is not
Mhm.
Yeah.
normal. Okay. And so, but nobody even like none of her doctors. And then it was in her 3rd pregnancy, but then they dismissed it in the 3rd pregnancy in the delivery. And then one day she literally can't walk, can't like everything. She's just collapsing. Well, she goes up into the emergency room and she's got a blood pressure of 70 over 40. And then they do all this imaging, and it took them forever to literally find out they they did all the imaging, but they thought, "Oh, this is nothing. This is not a big deal." And then it got worse and grew, and now she had to have emergency surgery to remove this big tumor that was sitting when what they call the mediastinum, which is right here, because the mass was so big on her lungs, on her heart, and everything. And then, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh, we have to prevention is priceless, and the cure for cancer is prevention. And unfortunately, doctors don't know how to prevent anything because in medical school, they're taught drugs, surgery, or both. Be reactive, wait for the earthquake, and then we treat you. And
Mhm.
and I did a follow up on another lady that she's doing amazing. She came to see me when she was 28. She's 30 now, 2 kids, and she had breast cancer, and she had gone to the doctor about the breast, and they go, "Oh, no, it's no big deal, da, da, da," and it ended up to be it was breast cancer, but by the time they found it, stage 4. And so, we can't think that today, we can't think that we're okay. Yes, we're okay. Yes, we have a miracle, but when you're living in this outrageous, disturbing environment, we all have to start learning about everything of how our body works and literally how do we create this miraculous condition for ourselves, okay, in every single way. And we have to now live proactively or defensively, offensively, depending on how you want to, but we just have to now. So, those days of 50 years ago when kind of ate anything and you played outside and you didn't have technology, those days are over. Now we're living in very, very critical times. I call it we're living in uncivilized civilization.
Mhm. Yeah.
And we yes, we live in this absolutely beautiful planet.
Well, not to play devil's advocate, but you know, I think when it comes to pesticides, it probably affects the people that get really large dosages of this thing, like the farmers, more than anyone.
Yes. Well, the more exposure, absolutely. Yeah. Hmm.
So,
Right. And it also depends upon your individual biochemical um system and really your mitochondria. Okay. So when you inherit your mitochondria from your mom. And so, and now when you look now at humanity, you that's why the mother needs to be so ready today because you want her to be as good and wonderful as possible to, have that baby. And so your mitochondria are kind of your powerhouse engines that make that energy. And so, and everything is under siege, and we just have to be aware and be informed and be educated really about all this. And I know that has always been my mission is I just want people to know so they can take the proper actions if they want. Not everybody does, but you're right. The farmers have like farmers have front row seat to this glyphosate. Okay,
Not just
they're
farmers, people that, you
y-
know, take care
gardener,
of the gardeners. Yeah,
gardeners, the
gardeners.
golf courses. That's why they're
Yeah,
saying if you live
exactly.
close to a golf course, you have higher risk of Parkinson's.
But yeah, sadly, I mean, I have a chapter in my book about pesticides, and Iowa ranks second in the nation for cancer incidences, and over 85% of its land is dedicated to agriculture. That's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy, like correlation.
85%. Right.
And the
Wow.
biggest lawsuits, for Bayer are from people that are
Farmers.
actually using these chemicals every single day.
Mhm.
It's really sad. I can't, like, it makes you really grateful that you're not you know, f- like groundskeeper, that
Mhm.
they're near this stuff every single day,
Mhm.
potentially risking getting like non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which
Mhm.
is one of the most correlated with pesticides
R-
exposure.
Right, but I think it's also implicated in other cancers too, breast, prostate, because it's an endocrine disruptor,
Yeah.
and
And
so
it just
just
kind of breaks
probably.
everyone down. So everyone's just like overall a weaker state.
Yeah, and then they
That's
talk
yeah.
about gluten. See, 50 years ago, nobody had gluten intolerance, but we think now that that plays a big role in the gluten and the celiac and gluten both, is that because of the glyphosate.
Yeah, it's
'Cause-
interesting because like there is the glyphosate and the gluten, and I feel like everyone's going to like alternative grains now. Like there's like the Bonza,
uh,
which is like the chickpea. There's like the
yeah,
almond meal and stuff, but that's so heavily sprayed. So it's like, how are people being
yes,
okay with that now? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're gonna just create more and more allergies because people overdo everything. They can't just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna replace this or I'm gonna remove this." They like go like, "Now I have to have everything with chickpeas in it or everything's gonna be almonds." And it's like, okay, like there's still there's still so much
yeah,
there.
right. Yeah, because utilized a lot on grains.
Well, yeah, because
So,
like Bonza, I remember like everyone was kind of switching over that they had the waffles, they have the
Yeah.
noodles,
Yeah.
and it was like, "Oh, this is better. This isn't wheat." And it's like, okay, but like, do you need chickpea for every single meal? And do you need chickpea waffles? Probably not. Like
I've never eaten that Bonza
I never
brand
did
me
either.
neither.
because
I haven't
I
either.
never gave into it because I was like, "That sounds godless. Like, you can't make me."
mm-mm. No, stop trying to force chickpea on me.
No. Your chickpea hands off
Any
me.
Anyways, there's some studies all food is likely contaminated with glyphosate, and I
Yes.
wish
Mhm.
we knew how much this was actually contributing or like w- hurting the terrain of your body, but we just don't know. And that's why,
Well, we do know about a lot about the microbiome
we
and its
do, but like the
disruption.
degree to how bad this is, like
Well,
we're
you can
eating it.
never, because we can't isolate. Like when
Yeah.
I do these environmental pollutant panels on patients, which is a 30-page report of everything that's in your, well, not everything, take that back, but the biggest pollutants. Okay. Well, there's the plastics and the insecticides, pesticides. I mean, it goes on, and everybody's got a degree of it. Okay. And theoretically, there's really no safe level of these things. And then you get the heavy metals, and then you get the mold, and then you get all these things. So it's like we just have to, yeah, all those things affect the terrain. That's why your mitochondria in your body is suffocating, because your body today has to deal with so much. And whether and you think about, like, everyone's, I like the girl I had yesterday. I mean, she grew up on antibiotics, meaning like she had strep throat this many times. She had bronchitis this many times. She probably took, by the time she's 30, she's probably taken antibiotics 15 times. Well, you add that to the disruption of the microbiome. And so then you get overgrowth. I mean, you get depletion of the microbes, and then you have a growth of fungus that grows. And fungus is correlated with cancer. So, and then you add the more chemicals, you add acidity to the body, and also, and so, we know that cancer has acidity.
One of
And
the like I was reading the repeat form before this, and Georgie has this really good article of like specifically why glyphosate is toxic and cancerous is because it depletes glycine.
Yes.
So if you're exposed to this a lot, maybe keep some glycine on hand, which I do. Whenever I feel called to take glycine, which is frequently because it's just this really protector of an amino acid, but maybe, that could be something to protect yourself.
Right. Yeah. Because what you could do is because glyphosate, because it's similar biochemically, it's basically derailing that glycine. So then if you have glycine on board, you're kind of making up for the loss. So, and it's very critical for the neurotransmitters, okay, this glycine. And so it has an effect of norepinephrine, epinephrine, and dopamine, which are, okay, I feel good, I feel great. And then everybody gets on, about 1 out of 4 people in their 30s are on antidepressants. So, and you're not even fixing the problem. You're just putting a Band-Aid on and you're giving SSRIs that are causing worse problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
Anyways.
like the issue with everything. I think that we live in such a toxic world that people just numb themselves to like how they feel, like emotionally, spiritually,
Yeah.
physically. And so it's like by the time there's a problem, you don't even know it's there because you've been numbing yourself for so long. So like you have to just like always have the basics intact of being like, you're making sure you're like exercising, you're eating as well as you can, you're like praying over your food, you're blessing your food because at the end of the day, like you
Mhm.
don't know what powers that be that are like kind of fighting against you. Because at the end of the day, like the country that we live in that's supposed to be
Mhm.
fighting for us and wanting the best for us, they're like, no, we've got our own glyphosate at home and we're going to make it at home now. Like it's like, we're not going to let China do it or any other countries. Like we're going to poison you ourselves. Don't you worry. So it's like, you can't
I know that
really depend
that
on
logic
anyone.
didn't make sense to me. You
No,
cannot depend on anyone.
it's literally like the meme being like, we have Taco Bell at home. Like that's what it's like with the glyphosate. It's not good.
Yeah,
Well,
and like
we're
even
normalizing.
organic
Yeah, we're
even organic
normalizing everything. We're just
Yeah.
normalizing.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's not, we can't normalize ADD and autism and cancer. Everything is like, okay, it's just normal. Okay. It's just normal that there's an 80% increase in cancer in the last 30 years. No, it's not normal. And
Yeah. Like,
everybody should be, you know, in arms.
yeah, it's like almost like this like agreed upon thing of being like, well, you just at some point in your life, you don't know why, you don't know how. You could be young, you could be old, you're gonna get cancer. And
Yeah, it's random.
it's so random. There's
It's
nothing you can
bad
do
luck.
about it. It's the luck of the draw. So
I see that every day on Reddit, like, because I read Reddit forums on breast cancer because 'cause I'm very curious what people are saying.
And what do they say?
They're always like, "It's just bad luck," and
What?
it's
Oh
just
my God.
crazy, the stuff I read on those forums, but I like to see what's going
Which
on.
is really crazy because they use Reddit for AI information, which is crazy. How does that
that
work?
tracks.
Yeah. I'm like, what? How does that work?
Anyways, I mean, I think their other big story here is how RFK was, had spoken about how glyphosate was dangerous and then,
He won
wrote
cases
about some.
against it. He did an $11 billion case that he won
Right.
against Monsanto, and now he's
So
like,
he knows what he's talking.
thank you, Mr. President Trump. Vote like,
Thank you so much.
thank you so much. I'm
Thank you
so glad I did the $11 million payout, and now it has immunity. Like what?
I'm not into politics, so I'm sure these things are complicated, like farmers, the entire food system is like using this one chemical that keeps food in the grocery stores. And so I'm always cautious that these problems are much more complicated than just glyphosate is bad, we should stop using it. Maybe honestly, that could be an amazing option. Like this is a carcinogen. Like that is a fact. Glyphosate is a
Yeah.
carcinogen. They are spraying our food with carcinogens. Like let us not forget that. However, I think the food system at its core is like pretty messed up. So we'd have to like redo the entire like how farmers cook. You
Mhm.
know.
Yeah. And it's also the animals too. The animals are ingesting, you know,
Mhm.
the,
I tell Jess every day, but like I'm obsessed with my local grocery store that has Like, even the eggs are local, and they put on the sign if it's biodynamic, local, or organic, and that's the only 3 options. They don't have any other options.
Oh,
And I give them all my money, but it's, like, worth every penny, because, yeah, the food sourcing is, like, unparalleled it's amazing.
mhm.
I think
Okay.
Mercado in Laguna Beach has really good tasting produce, just
Yeah.
saying.
They
Yeah.
get it
And
from the Santa Monica's farmers markets on Wednesday, which is really nice.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I just think people you really need to be choosy with where you buy your food.
But, like, I mean, even organic I mean, you can't use glyphosate in organic food, but glyphosate's not the only pesticide, there's, like
Right. And
there's
it's close in proximity geographically. So, it's not like there's walls between all these.
Well, like there's different, like I think it's Clover that you can buy their organic milk or you can buy their non-organic milk. And I'm like, the fact that you have organic or non-organic milk, like you cannot be trusted. Like,
yeah.
Right.
like it's insane. So, like, a lot of coffee shops I've been noticing they'll have Clover. And so then people
Mhm.
just go, oh, organic. And I'm like, no, 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 I can't go there anymore. They're not using organic. And like, I have to, like, every time, like, do like a little, I'm like, oh, so is it organic yet? Is it organic? Like, cause they just like will take it away. And like,
Yeah.
they think no one's going to notice. And I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm noticing.
Just
I'm over
is
here with the great
noticing.
noticing.
Me too. I am so like that. I go into a place. Is this water purified? How is it purified?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a curse to be be a noticer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. But you gotta pay
but it's a
attention.
blessing as well. Equal parts blessing
Yeah.
and curse.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so we'll see how this plays out,
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think we need to really all be talking about it. Send, whatever we need to send to people is what we need to do. So,
we'll start praying about it. We'll start
yeah.
talking about it, all of the above.
And you got to
Mhm.
All
pray
right.
for your enemies, I pray
So
for
true.
glyphosate every day.
All right, so body map topic is about the BRCA, BRCA. People say different ways of saying this. The gene mutation that a lot of women are diagnosed with. Um, we chose this topic based off a tweet where this woman said a woman tested positive for the BRCA gene and opted to get a double mastectomy without a cancer diagnosis, then opted for IVF and only transferred embryos that did not have the BRCA gene, essentially stopping any one of her descendants from passing the gene. Women having choices and access to healthcare is vital. This got 30,000 likes, and
Oh, whoa.
yeah, I was really s- it always makes me very uncomfortable when women get vasectomies for the BRCA gene because of how barbaric that seems, a woman's literal breast getting removed. She didn't have a cancer diagnosis. They just preemptively removed her breasts. Um,
And probably our ovaries.
didn't mention that, but maybe.
Well, that's what Angelina Jolie did. Is she got her breast taken off, then her ovaries. I'm like, oh my God, how are you going to remove all your body parts? And then what are you going to have?
That's true. And Angelina Jolie got a double mastectomy,
Uh-huh.
which is obviously more invasive.
Right.
Um,
And that's also very difficult on the body. And you have those scars that also have, impact on the system. And
yeah.
so, yeah. And that doesn't like prevent you from getting cancer
It's like,
because it's
it's
only
kind
a
of like,
small percentage of the BRCA people. Like cancer is not genetic. We know that because look what's happened in the last 30 years. Genetics didn't change.
but you
And
know
so,
how when people get a nose job and they're like, oh, well, I had a deviated septum, I had to do it. That's going to be the new boob job thing. They're like, oh, I had the BRCA gene. Like, I had to get a double mastectomy. I'm a survivor. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it becomes this weird, like, almost like not like a social justice, but it's like a, you're kind of trying to cue to people, be like, well, I did my research. I looked into this and like, I'm being so preventative right now. And it's like,
Yeah.
just give your body some time to cook. Like, there wasn't anything wrong.
Yeah. Well, people don't realize that a BRCA mutation alone is not sufficient to drive cancer.
that's right. because
And many people have BRCA mutation carriers and never drive
I never get
cancer.
cancer. And,
When you have
and
the
that's not going
BRCA,
to preclude that person from getting cancer, like pancreatic cancer
Mhm.
yeah.
or some other cancer. So like it's all displaced, you
So
know?
when you have a BRCA mutation, carriers inherit one faulty copy of the gene, but the second copy still functions. So cancer cannot develop unless the backup copy is also damaged or lost. And this is like a second hit, which is metabolic factors, environmental factors, xenoestrogens. And so, when you have the BRCA mutation, I'm not saying to never take, in fact, you need to be super proactive, but with your life, with your environment. You can't just remove body parts. That's so invasive. That causes a cascade of other issues.
Correct.
It's absolutely crazy. When really the BRCA mutation means you should be so careful with your life, like with your hormones, making sure your life is balanced in every way, following the laws of nature, eating well, not removing body parts that God put there for a
But
reason, you know?
also, doesn't it when you have to get the, double mastectomy, doesn't it take out, like, really important lymph nodes as well? So if you're, like, preemptively doing that, like, when you get any, surgery done to your boob, the lymph nodes have to be taken out to, like, properly do it. So if you didn't have an issue in the first place, then you're creating different issues by not letting your, like, lymph move as it should throughout your body.
Right. Well, there's a price to pay for everything. When you have a cancer diagnosis, they always go for what they call a sentinel node biopsy, and they decide by injecting dye to see if anything is pathological. And that's not like a slam dunk, but that is like the most efficacious way. And then they decide how many lymph nodes. Okay, is it going to be one? Is it going to be three? Is it going to be five? Is it going to be 10? And then what happens? The doctor like makes the decision, but the patient, I always talk to the patients about, look, your lymph system is very, very important. It's 4 times greater than your blood circulation. That's how important it is. Your lymph system is part of your immune system. So it's not like you just start removing. And then if you do get any of your lymph system removed because of cancer, whether it's breast cancer, colon cancer, whatever cancer, that means you need to really be focusing on lymphatic drainage because literally that entire freeway system, every single thing that you were born with is important. So removal of one millionth of it is still impactful. And so your lymph system is very, very powerful and needs to be addressed. And we have to be conservative about how much we remove. And that's what I always tell the patients, talk to your doctor about, look, what is optimal for this disease process, because I really want to manage as much as my lymph system, because, sometimes people have to wear those sleeves because they have lymphedema and everything. And and then if you have lymphedema, you're increasing your risk of reoccurrence because you can't clean and remove the garbage and get rid of the inflammation. So you got to take all these proper precautions, removing the lymph. But there's a price to pay for everything. And so again, like Alana was saying, like we need to get the basics in order, all right? Because most people aren't following their sleep, their water, their eating, mindful of their eating, their exercise, getting sunshine every day, being mindful of their thoughts. Like, let's just try to get that down. And I think if we just honor the natural laws and rhythm of our body, that is going to be your best treatment for anything.
Mhm.
Yeah. It
I feel
just
like
reminds me that, go ahead, Jess.
I just feel like sometimes it's, like, so simple that people, like,
Yeah.
they want it to be complicated, and they're like, "Oh, no, no, I have to remove my breast," and you're like, "No, let's how are you sleeping? Like, are you moving your body? Like, how about you just do the things, like, that make you a functioning human first, and then let's try adding things onto your day. Let's try pulling things out." Like, but just, like, get your basics in order, and it's, like, too simple that people are like,
Right.
"No, that's, like, not exciting, that's not fun." They want it to be a
Exactly.
little flashy.
Yeah, exactly. People are seeking all this outside, external things to make themselves better when we have to get the basics down, because the basics is what really is what feeds your every one of your cells,
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's kind of like how, like taking peptides before you source local milk. Like that is
yeah,
my
in the right water, okay, and
in
pure
the right
white water.
water. Why are you doing that? Like that is you're not even nailing what you're supposed to do every day. Like why don't
Yeah.
you do that first before you
Yeah.
inject a Chinese peptide into you?
Mm.
You won't
Right.
even need the
Where's the fun
Chinese
in that?
peptide. But it reminds me that cancer treatment is all, very frequently based on exterminating parts of the body. Like literally like a ghostbuster and exterminating an entire organ that's meant to breastfeed, meant for I mean, if you think about a breast, it's part of a woman's identity. It's
Yes.
literally what changed one of the main differences between a man and a woman is breasts. And I mean, I guess
And
they're gonna
also, did that person get breast implants?
well, they will have breast implants probably now if they get
Well, no, that's what I'm
reconstruction.
saying. So
Yeah,
wait, so what does that do? Okay.
a foreign body
It's a
reaction.
foreign body among many, many other things. So, and then when you get scars, most people don't realize that when you get a scar, you're blocking all your acupuncture meridians. So you have to get all those scars treated to open up those acupuncture meridians. So it's called neural therapy. And so if you have a scar, it's like a line delineation demarcation that is not allowing the flow of energy to go back and forth. So just look at a picture of the acupuncture meridians online, and you'll see how important that is. So again, and then none of the doctors talk about the good, bad, and the ugly of all of this. And so I think that's a failure of our doctors to inform patients about, if you do this, this isn't going to prevent cancer, okay, ever coming, okay, and, it might prevent breast cancer, but again, you also have a result of what are the other problems with this, I know all the patients that I have seen now in the last probably 5 years, they tell me the difference in how they feel after they get their implants out. Like that is like some of the most um, things that people are doing is getting their implants out. But they tell me how dramatically they feel better getting implants out. So, and we already know this, there's already studies, that talk about the effect of breast implants on the body it's bottom line, it's a foreign body. Okay. So, it does have impact on the immune system because the immune system is going after something all the time because it's foreign.
Yeah.
So again,
But
this
the
is
bottom
not the
line
way to prevent cancer. Okay, it's not.
exactly, like the BRCA mutation, if you have it actually means you're more sensitive to hormone imbalances. So you should be looking into things like progesterone, pregnenolone, thyroid, making sure your hormones are balanced and exposure is correct. So that's really what the BRCA mutation means. Doesn't mean you should rip off an organ. It means you should care about your hormones more than probably the average person because that's the hand you were dealt. Um, but it's nothing to be scared of. The cancer industry really relies on fear, um, like submission into action, into these really drastic interventions that you can't take back. So it's good to be careful when you get something like a mutation is going to ruin your life because that's not how cancer works. Mutations happen after the the problems have happened. So I don't know. The tweet kind of made me sad because this was positioned as healthcare and proactive healthcare and a benefit to women when you know, really the only true healthcare is taking care of your day-to-day life every single day.
That is correct.
And obviously that's excluding like hospital visits that you need to see like something urgent. You know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, we need this. Well, come on. That's not what I'm talking about. What do you say, Mom, when patients come to you and say like, I want to get my breast out because I got someone told me I have this mutation.
Oh, I caution them not to do that. I said, I will teach you. Let's do all the testing and I'll teach you how to not have cancer.
Mm,
So So I tell them no. I say, you can't
Mhm.
keep moving body parts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like we love removing body parts. We're like, "Oh, it's bad. Cut it out." And it's just like it's so weird that that's like our first thing. That's like our first line of defense these days. I feel like that's like
Mhm.
but people like love an extreme measure. They like love going all in on something, and it's like slow down a bit.
Yeah.
They
right.
think that's like
Yeah.
how they're being like the best student or the best patient. They're like, okay, fine, I don't want to have to do it, but I'll go. This is how far I'll go, and it's like we don't have to go that far.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like that's the same with hysterectomies and cholecystectomy, removing your gallbladder. All these um, organs that were designed miraculously that you really need to have. Yes. Are there extenuating circumstances? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. It was interesting. I was reviewing a chart yesterday and a lady, because I got her results back. And so she was diagnosed like several years ago with triple negative breast cancer, which is the worst. And so they did chemo, the intense chemo protocol before, and then she had her bilateral mastectomy, and then they took out 14 lymph nodes, and one was positive. This person's only 43, and this started 39 or 38 years old when she was 38. And so she just came to us recently, and so here she is, though. She got lost to follow-up, meaning, like, the doctor taking care of her, like, didn't make sure she had follow-up, and then she starts having dizziness and headaches, and here it is, it's in her brain, and it's everywhere, stage 4, and then she came to see us, and, like, we told her, like, "Okay, you gotta." We gave her all the protocols to do and everything, and then her Signatera, which is looking at circulating tumor day, was high, and then I was studying the chart last night, and I was going over, like, what she wasn't responding to her phone, not when I called her yesterday, but before, and I was like, "Wait, we called her so many times to make sure she had her follow-up and everything," and I'm like, "Whoa, wait, we have to love ourselves. We gotta take care of this. This isn't something cancer isn't something, it's a formidable opponent. It's not the kind of thing that you just kinda, like, take care of yourself and then, okay, like, I think I can lighten up and, not, watch what I eat, okay? Or
Mhm.
I can just drink alcohol every day and I'm okay. And so it's like, no, every minute, every hour, every day is important to honor those biological laws. I never tell people perfection. There's no such thing as perfection. But we have to love ourselves and we've got to be
Mm.
worthy of healing. We have to be like we deserve to be healed and that we deserve to be taken care of by ourselves. And so I encourage everybody to just say, like, I love myself and
Mhm.
I deserve to be healed every single day. And so it was interesting. So when they called her and said, Dr. Kinley wants to talk to you, because I saw the results, I'm like, oh. And then all of a sudden now, months later, she's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, whoa, what? What happened here? What was that Grand Canyon gap that she decided like to take it for granted that, everything's gonna be okay? No,
Yeah.
it's not like that. And so uh, like Alana was saying, like we need to be paying attention to what where is this milk coming from? Whatever's coming from, what is it? And what are the ingredients?
Well, it's not even like estrogen. I mean, breast cancer is a big mystery of what causes it either. Like you can proactively be careful with estrogen exposure. Like the
Right.
imbalance of estrogen to progesterone is determines the health of the breast. Just focus on that. That is not a mystery. Breast cancer people act like we don't know what causes breast cancer. It's like, yeah, we absolutely do. We have
Well,
we
we
have
know
like
what causes cancer. Yes.
yeah, so
There's
and
so many great books on
there's
it.
one factor, but I agree on the loving yourself. Jess tells me that too because I'm single, and she says, you have to love yourself so much first for someone to love you that much.
Right. It's so true.
So I think it can
So
be
true.
translated to other things. And
Yeah.
both of you guys are my wise sage counselors.
Love's the most
Yeah.
important thing, guys.
Yeah.
Self-love, love for others.
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, it's kind of true. It's like love is the only thing.
Yeah. Love is the medicine for everything, I always say.
Yeah, like in a deep sense, if you love yourself, you feed yourself appropriately. You know,
And
if you
you
love yourself, you
exercise and you do
exercise.
these basic things and you just gotta like we get so like hurry and worry all the time. Like, no, that's not gonna serve us.
Mm-mm.
And yeah, like no, we have to not hurry and worry. And we've got to just like like just enjoy the simple things in life. That's what really matters.
Enjoy the
Yes, I
sunshine.
mean, yes.
Enjoy the
Like, yeah,
hail.
like I took a walk on the beach Sunday and all the way into town, and I was like, "Oh my God, I get to do this. I am beyond blessed to do this."
Mhm.
So true.
So,
Anyways, this is the Braca part of the show. Let's do house calls, maybe.
house calls. Well,
'Cause we gotta get to work.
yeah.
Jess
Uh,
is getting big. Her big belly.
oh, really?
Him popping.
She's
I
getting
have
big.
swim lessons after this for the boys. I have my midwife appointment.
Really?
We're cooking.
Hi,
I
my name is Jess. I'm 36 and I'm hoping to get pregnant with my second baby this year. I really want to be as healthy as possible going into pregnancy, especially because my first son has autism and I want to support my body and future baby as much as I can. I've actually had hypothyroidism since I was 18, but I was never told it was Hashimoto's until recently. I've tried different thyroid meds over the years, Synthroid, Armor, and others. When I was pregnant with my first, my OB had me stop Armour and switch to Synthroid, and I've been on Synthroid since then. I recently started working with a functional medicine doctor and had more in depth testing, and now I'm being told I have Hashimoto's because my TPO antibodies are elevated. I've been gluten free for over a year, and she recommended cutting out dairy as well. Do I really need to eliminate dairy, or is that more individualized? And realistically, because I love my morning lattes, are there better options that still support thyroid and immune health? She also did hormone testing and started me on pregnenolone and progesterone. What else would you recommend to optimize my health before pregnancy? Nutrition, lifestyle, supplements, or things to avoid? And specifically on the thyroid side, what labs and target ranges should I aim for before trying to conceive and in early pregnancy? TSH, free T4, free T3, TPO antibodies. What numbers do you like to see for someone with long term hypothyroidism who now has Hashimoto's and is preparing for pregnancy? And are there any additional tests you'd recommend before we start trying? Thanks, guys.
That's a great question. So, because she has Hashimoto's, she wants to get pregnant, she wants to have a healthy baby, she had autistic child in the first one, so she's got a lot of things going on. So I'm really proud of her though that she wants to have another baby and she wants to be mindful. And this is what this is all about is being mindful and conscious of what she should be doing. And so I always talk about the spiritual, emotional, psychological, physical effects of wanting to get pregnant. So, really, that should be in alignment and in order that you're going to create this miracle. And you just, you want to really rid the body of any unfavorable emotional conflicts and with yourself and or your partner because your partner is also under the same experiment. So really really have this beautiful discussion with your partner in anticipation of this miracle and how they can spiritually, emotionally, psychologically be in harmony and synergy. And then physically, yes, you need to get your whole body biochemically. So biochemically is just one part of it. And that's great. She's doing the pregnenolone and progesterone. That was good. Definitely synthroid and levothyroxine. I don't use those because they're missing T0, T1, T2, and T3. So synthroid and levothyroxine are just pure T4. And I'm familiar because I have had low thyroid for many years, and I've tried many experiments to not be low thyroid. And I tried Synthroid myself. I felt horrible. So I've tried it 8 times just because I like to do experiments to think, okay, let me see. Maybe this time it works. No, it doesn't work. And you've got to use natural versions of thyroid, which are either thyroid glandulars and or the NP thyroid. Armor thyroid was really good when they first came out with it. Now they're trying to get rid of it, unfortunately. So fight for that. But they changed the formulation several years ago. And I know when my patients started getting their prescription, they're like, oh no, I don't feel the same. I don't feel la la la. So whatever they did to the formulation, I'm not sure what it was. So always stick to a natural formula of thyroid. And because that's where it's going to have all the components like your natural physiological thyroid. Yes, I think getting off wheat, it's not the wheat itself that's probably so bad. It's how we bastardize the wheat now these days. Maybe dairy. What I do is I usually do a food allergy testing on my patients with Hashimoto. So I see what they're eating and seeing if there's something wrong. Now, if you have a lot of allergies, that means your gut's not healthy. So I would make sure your gut is healthy because now if you look at, we were just talking about glyphosate, and glyphosate now they're saying is a big contributor to autism because of the neurological implications. And you can go down that rabbit hole and research that. So we need to make sure your gut is healthy because your gut is related to the thyroid. And one big thing I think contributes to Hashimoto's is heavy metals. And I have been checking heavy metals. I checked Alana's heavy metals when she was 6 years old. Um, and I was like, whoa, how could she have so many heavy metals? And I thought I was such a like intentional mom. And I was like, oh, we're living in this environment. But I find that heavy metals just disrupt the Krebs cycle of energy and everything so that it's just a really big impact. And aluminum, cadmium, mercury, all these are high. And like I do this every day, all day long. And it's staggering the amount of heavy metals. So I think, general detoxification through, I use zeolite, zeocharge, actually what I use. You can do sauna or detox baths to get toxins out of your body. For my patients with Hashimoto's, I made a beautiful essential oil blend that I have my patients utilize. Red light to the thyroid. Make sure you do a thyroid ultrasound. Also, I have this thing called the Polaroid disc. Alana knows it's an amazing thing to balance your chakras. Your thyroid is a chakra. And so you balance your whole body, but especially your thyroid. So that is also really important. The other thing, the testing, yes, you mentioned T3, T4, TSH, TPL, B3 thyroxine index, free T4 and free T. So you need, like we have a panel that we do. So you can't just rely on blood tests because, I was used to be on the Broda Barnes Foundation, and Broda Barnes wrote a famous book called Hypothyroidism. And we should be checking your basal body temperature. So check your temperature first thing in the morning and not during ovulation to make sure that your temperature is adequate. So you should be 97.8 to 98.2. And then that will give you more clues whether you have low thyroid. So it's nothing is like this, okay, we got this magic bullet and we're all good and done. I've never seen that. I always tell people, like, when you raise kids, do you do one thing? No, you do thousands of things to have that child have as many experiences, etc. So the body is just too infinitesimally complex, and we're living in this very, very complex, complicated world. So we really have to, dissect things and really um, uh, understand all the etiologies going on. The other thing is a castor oil pack to the thyroid, but we want to make sure our body is clean and beautiful and flowing, whether it's spiritual, emotional, psychological, or physical, and just really bless the miracle you're going to be producing, and just really talk about how magnificent that's going to be.
Hmm. I know there are some studies that say that when you're pregnant, the a lot of women benefit from like even doubling their thyroid medication because their need for thyroid goes up because,
Mhm.
well,
Right,
you have a baby that's
right,
siphoning off all of your reserves for everything.
right. Oh,
So,
well, and I check the patient's thyroid every 3 months because a lot of doctors don't know how to like do the hormonal blue. And so I check them, they have me and then they have their OB. Like yesterday I had a patient, I treated her for breast cancer and I go, okay, you're done. I don't need to see you. You're good. Everything's great. And so she goes, well, like she kind of got scared because like that I told her, like, we don't have to, we're good. We're good, good, good. And so I said, tell me what you want to do. What is your next purpose in life? And she goes, I want to have a baby. So I said, oh, okay. Then that's what you go think about. Okay. She froze her eggs before because she had infertility. She had all kinds of problems before. So like she had IVF and all kind of things. Anyway, bottom line, she wasn't that healthy. She said back then, she goes, Dr. Gillen, I'm healthy now. I'm the healthiest version that I've ever been since being diagnosed. And she kind of created her own treatment protocol, obviously with me, but she kind of went against what they normally recommend. And so, but I supported her and I told her, look, I will check you every month to make sure. Anyway, she's out, she's many years out now. And so she called me yesterday. Dr. Keneally, I'm pregnant. So she wanted to
That's
know
so exciting.
everything. Yeah, I know. So excited. She's so happy. She's so happy. She's scared. So I told her, I said, just relax. And she goes, oh my God, I needed this. Like she goes, I said, just relax. Pregnancy is not an illness. Pregnancy has this just natural force. And then she's like, well, I got to find a doctor. So she started calling people and nobody would take her because she had a history of breast cancer. And I think she's 36 or 37. And I said, no, listen, I will take care of you every couple of months. You find the OB who will know what, so forth, but I will be checking you. You're already 2 months pregnant. So you only have 7 more months to go. Okay. So I said, this time will pass and you are not controlling the growth. You are just blessing this every single day. And I want you to take all the precautions. I went over her nutrients and then I went over everything and she already knows how to eat and she knows all about everything because she's been a patient here. And so anyway,
Jess, what are
uh,
you doing for your thyroid since you're pregnant?
Taking some Arena natural desiccated
Oh my
thyroid.
gosh.
oh, cool.
Some product placement.
It's my favorite. I started taking it like a few months before getting pregnant, and like my body just loved it, so I've just stayed on it, and I've never felt better. My
Oh my
thyroid is
gosh.
so happy. I also love to do a little red light to the thyroid. A little affirmation here and there,
Yep. No,
I
not
put
here and there. Every day, all day.
every single day, here and there
Yeah.
throughout the day.
Yeah. Right. Reset, reset. Remember, living prayer every day.
I do progesterone
Exactly.
cream to the thyroid
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. I've been like
and then
mainly
red
doing the
light.
progesterone on my thighs because in pregnancy I'm just a little more prone to cellulite, which is a little special
Mm.
thing.
Well,
Um,
also progesterone's fat loving, so it's good to put on your thighs.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I've been really into my dry brushing this last week, and my body's been
That's a
loving
great
it.
thing to do because it's a great thing. One, you're loving yourself, but two, you're cleansing your body without
hmm
external things.
I've
So
been
it's a
using
good.
like the copper bristle one, and it's just
Uh-huh.
been such a nice
Hmm.
little ritual to add.
That's
I
Changed
kind
awesome.
of
my
like
life.
I copy you on a lot, but like I kind of want to do that. I want to start doing
No,
it. Send me what you have.
I've just been joking because I'm like, I got so into dry brushing like 10 years ago, but then I'm like, do you know what? That really worked. I should bring it back. And like I've never felt better. I'm like, how did I ever stop? Like it's so nice. It just like everything's moving, just like waking up the lymph every day when you're like
Yeah.
pregnant
Mhm.
is just like so
Yeah,
necessary.
Alana, I have a handout on that. So if people reach out, like we need to give them proper ways to do
Yeah.
the skin brushing. Okay.
No, that's a good point. Like I feel like one of the benefits of massages is body parts haven't been touched
Oh,
in a
I
while.
always say that.
Really?
That's why I get
Like,
a massage every week.
well, and it's like they just want to be loved and given attention. Like, don't we all like just want a little attention as humans? And like, I
Right.
think our body parts feel that too. And that's why, like, I was giving someone a massage the other day, and like, I touched places like behind their ear and their neck that they haven't been touched. And I don't think I was doing anything special. It's just that they missed contact, human contact.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
why
like
you
I feel
hug
like
people.
yeah, in pregnancy, I think sometimes like as you get bigger, people start to like hide and like they don't want to like touch it. And I'm like, no, you have to touch every part of your body, put oil like every inch of my body is like lathered at all times. Like
Yeah.
in it started when I was pregnant with Lucky and I just never had stopped. But it's like it's a way that you're touching every bit of your body. Get between your fingers, get between your toes. Like everything needs to be addressed. And like I really contribute like not having stretch marks to that because everything's getting love and care and
Mm.
great.
That's right.
I had a buccal massage last week where they do the massage inside the mouth
That's
because I
so
was like
nice.
that they have these gums haven't been manhandled in a while. Like there's no one's touching them, so I got
Oh no,
that.
it's so nice. Like I've fallen asleep getting a buccal massage.
Yeah, she was kind of
Good.
like hurting me a little. I was like, "Ow, what are we doing? This hurts." But it was good to give that part of
Well, you
the
can get knots
especially
in your mouth. You get knots. It's like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you
Anyways,
guys, I have to go to work.
okay.
So I love all of you. I love all of our
All right, this
cellulose.
has been another episode of Celluverse. Thank you, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Celluverse is the podcast where we get real about what's making us sick and what it actually takes to get better. Hosted by Alana Keneally, Jess Donovan, and Dr. Lee Aaron Keneally, this show pulls back the curtain on mitochondria, metabolism, hormones, toxins, cancer, and all the stuff your doctor shrugs off. We dig into the science, but also the lived experience of what it means to be healthy in today's world.
Just a reminder, anything discussed on this podcast is not medical advice.
And nothing can actually harm you if you're pure of heart.